Thanks, everybody, for the introduction. And again, my name is Sara Salerno. I'm a clinical pharmacologist at Gilead. Here are my disclosures. So lenacapavir is a long-acting potent capsid inhibitor that's approved for the treatment of multi-drug resistant HIV as well as the prevention of HIV. And LEN is a substrate for PGP, CYP3A, and UGT1A1, and it's primarily eliminated unchanged in feces. And the LEN dosing regimen that is approved in the U.S. includes an initiation regimen of 927 milligram subcutaneous injection, which is 2 vials of 1.5 milliliters each, along with 600 milligram oral loading dose on days 1 and 2. And then there's a maintenance regimen of 927 milligram subcutaneous injection administered every 6 months. So people that are at high likelihood of acquiring HIV or living with HIV may need tuberculosis treatment, particularly because of the overlapping endemic geographies. And rifampicin is one of the first-line antibiotics that's used for TB treatment. However, it has significant DDI liability. It's a strong CYP3A4 inducer, a UGT1A1 inducer, and a PGP inducer, as well as inhibitor. Rifabutin is less widely available. However, the advantage is it does have much lower DDI potential. It's considered to be a moderate CYP3A4 inducer. And we have conducted a phase 1 clinical DDI study for oral LEN administered with rifampicin and found a significant decrease in the exposure of LEN of 84%. So just so everybody's on the same page, I just want to explain the mechanism of the interaction. So you can see when LEN is administered orally, it undergoes significant metabolism in the intestine and the liver through CYP3A, PGP, and a lesser extent UGT1A1. And rifampicin induces these enzymes, which leads to a decreased concentration of LEN. However, when LEN is administered subcutaneously, you initially bypass that first pre-systemic metabolism through the intestine and liver. So we would expect a much lower magnitude of interaction of LEN administered subcutaneously in combination with rifampicin. And this leads to the overall objective, which is to develop a PBPK model to propose dosing recommendations for subcutaneous LEN in combination with rifampicin or rifabutin, which can maintain safe and efficacious LEN concentrations. So the PBPK methodology is shown here. So we developed a base model for LEN using in vitro as well as clinical data for LEN administered alone, orally, intravenously, and subcutaneously. And we also have developed perpetrator models for all of these drugs shown here, which have varying interaction potential against PGP, CYP3A, and UGT1A1. And we have clinical data for LEN oral in combination with these perpetrators, which we use to validate our PBPK model to make sure that the LEN elimination pathway was parameterized correctly. And then finally, we applied this model to simulate and provide supplemental LEN dosing recommendations for subcutaneous LEN in combination with rifampicin and rifabutin. And our overall PBPK model assumptions are shown here. In the interest of time, I will just point out a few of these. So we have a full body LEN PBPK model that's developed in GastroPlus. And our systemic distribution was captured using a perfusion limited model for all tissues. And then in terms of our metabolism, excretion, and transport, we have elimination through PGP-mediated secretion and direct intestinal secretion, which was parameterized to have about 40% of the dose excreted unchanged in feces based on the human mass balance study that we have in humans receiving LEN IV. And we also have CYP3A4 parameterized for LEN accounting for about 30% after IV administration, and a smaller amount, 1 to 2% of UGT1A1, and a very minor contribution from nonspecific clearance in liver, like about 2 to 3%. And we validated our PBPK model using pre-specified acceptability criteria. So on the left, you can see the predicted versus observed Cmax in blue and AUC in red. And all of the Cmax and AUC predictions were within 1.5-fold of the observed values, and the majority of them were within 1.25-fold. And then on the right, you can see the performance for LEN in combination with the perpetrators, and the Cmax and AUC, where the majority of these were within the GAS criteria, which is a well-established framework for evaluating the quality of DDI performance. So next, we applied our model to perform simulations of subcutaneous LEN in combination with rifampicin or rifabutin. And because Rifamycins can be started at any time during this 6-month LEN initiation regimen, we wanted to make sure that our simulations and our dosing recommendations were sufficient no matter when they were started. So that's why we looked at 3 representative times, one shortly after the LEN initiation regimen started, and this would be the worst case for efficacy. Also near the LEN Cmax around 12 weeks, which would be the worst case for safety. And then we also looked at the LEN C trough, which is also important for efficacy. And also, we performed these simulations using a virtual healthy population. And the supplemental dose regimens that I will go over are shown here. But basically, for rifampicin, we supplement with an additional LEN initiation regimen the day that rifampicin starts. And for rifabutin, we give 463.5 milligram the day that rifabutin starts. And so in the subsequent slides, I will just show simulations for the first scenario where the rifamycin was started shortly after LEN initiation. So here you can see the LEN initiation regimen alone, the LEN simulated concentrations in blue. Now, if we were to co-administer rifampicin for 6 months, oral daily, you can see that there is a significant decrease in LEN concentrations. However, we next perform simulations for starting the supplementation along with rifampicin on day 3 of the LEN initiation regimen, which is, again, the day that rifampicin starts, which in this case is day 3. We give another 2 days of oral loading dose and another injection of 927 milligram. And then in this case, you can see the concentrations of LEN and cyan color are similar to the concentrations for the LEN initiation regimen alone. And the conclusion is rifampicin can be started based on our simulations with the supplemental initiation regimen starting at least 2 days after starting the LEN initiation regimen. So next, I will move on towards the rifabutin simulations. So here again is the LEN initiation regimen alone. Now, if we were to co-administer LEN plus rifabutin in red, you can see we do have lower LEN concentrations, but the magnitude of this interaction is much lower than what we observe for the simulations with LEN plus rifampicin. This is again because rifabutin is only a moderate CYP3A4 inducer. So on the day that LEN initiation regimen starts, on day 1, we start rifabutin, and we also co-administer with a supplemental LEN injection of 463.5 milligram. And this is just 1 vial of the standard 2 vials that we typically give for LEN in the initiation regimen. And you can see that the supplementation in purple results in slightly higher but overall similar concentrations to the LEN initiation regimen alone. And the take-home point is that rifabutin can be started with supplemental dosing of 463.5 milligram anytime after starting the LEN initiation regimen. So in conclusion, based on modeling and simulation, rifampicin and rifabutin can be co-administered with subcutaneous LEN with this additional supplement dosing regimen as described to maintain LEN concentrations that are safe and efficacious. And also just want to highlight this proposed dosing regimen was accepted by the US FDA for the prevention of HIV. And they also extended these supplemental dosing recommendations. So the dosing recommendations for rifampicin was extended to other strong CYP3A inducers, and the dosing recommendation for rifabutin was extended to other moderate CYP3A inducers, specifically for HIV prevention. And lastly, I just wanted to mention that the results are consistent with other drugs in the literature that are sensitive CYP3A and PGP substrates administered IV compared to PO, where you have a significantly lower impact of rifampicin when these drugs are administered parenterally relative to oral. And last, just want to show my acknowledgements, and some of the additional simulations can be found on my poster, so please come talk to me during the coffee break as well.